Good morning, guys. Hope you're doing well. Last week we covered what causes shoulder popping, and this week we had somebody reach out and ask us not only what can cause shoulder popping, but also what can you do about it. So it's a great question, and I'm going to show you guys a variety of different exercises. My favorite exercises to do at home without needing any exercise equipment ultimately. And the idea is if you're going to be doing these exercises, you're not trying to fight through any pain. They shouldn't be uncomfortable. It's more to help with shoulder popping, not necessarily to help with a rotator cuff impingement problem, because you'd want to start off differently with that. So just keep that in mind. But last week, if you have questions, or this week, if you have questions about what causes shoulder popping, just make sure you watch last week. And let's see, what else do I got for you? At the end of this, I'm going to provide in the description a PDF to all these exercises. So make sure you check out the description below, and I'll provide that for free for you guys. It'll just take me a second to put that together after I shoot this video. So if you are interested in doing these exercises, they'll be available for you in the description after this video if you give me probably an hour or so. So to start things off, just remember a lot of times shoulder popping in the shoulder can mean a variety of different things, but it can be caused by a variety of different things as well. So your rotator cuff acts as a suspension mechanism throughout your shoulder. And so if this is the head of your humerus, which is this bone right here, and then you have this ball socket joint up there, what you want in that joint is for it to be suspended like this. And your rotator cuff works in that way. And so we want a strong rotator cuff, and we want a strong support system throughout that shoulder. And in order to do that without any equipment at home, there's some unique exercises. So I'm going to show that to you guys now. Now, when you're doing these exercises, if you're feeling uncomfortable in the shoulder or you're getting a lot of uncomfortable popping, just like we talked about last week, that's when you know you shouldn't be doing it and pushing through it, okay? So to get things started, we first got to start waking up the muscles. There's a difference between having strong muscles and responsive muscles. So there's something called muscle memory. So the best way to describe it is if I tell my arm to flex up like this, there might be a delay if these muscles have a poor activation pattern. Now, if I have good activation of the bicep muscle and my brain's telling my arm to flex up, there's no delay. What typically happens with different suspension muscles throughout the shoulder and really in the mid-back or like core muscles is a lot of times there's this delayed pattern of activation of those muscles. We see that a lot in research with low back pain, with shoulder impingement. And so what we want to do is start activating the muscles and waking them up. So you could have a really strong muscle, but the muscle activation pattern could be really slow, which would cause you a lot of problems. So a lot of people can't do this exercise. I want you guys to try it. It's hard to coordinate this movement, but ultimately what you're going to do is I want you to put your arms straight out in front of you, and I want you to try to just keep your elbows locked and then pinch your shoulder blades together in the back, just like this, okay? It's very simple. It's a very simple movement that a lot of people can't coordinate. Now this one should be easy, but if you want to take that to the next level, what you do is now lock out your elbows, put them on the wall, straighten out your elbows completely. You're not bending the elbows, and now just pinch your shoulder blades together in the back. Not up, but just straight back. And round out as far as you can, and then go back. Majority of people, I would say 1 out of 2 people cannot coordinate that movement. So I first want you guys to start waking up the muscles that way. So 50% of you aren't going to be able to coordinate that at first. I want you to narrow down exactly how to move those shoulders. Do it 15 to 20 times to make sure you've got that movement before you progress to doing anything else. Now, what we're going to do next now is we're going to be doing this stuff on the floor in a plank position. So let me tilt this camera down here and start the party. So now we're going to go from doing that on the wall to doing it in a straight arm plank position. Now, remember, you can have strong muscles, but poor coordination and poor muscle activation. So this is waking those up. Now, if you could do these without a problem, then don't worry about doing any sets of them. But now I'm going to get in a straight arm plank position, just like this, keeping the elbows locked out. Now I'm going to keep my core nice and tight. Now I'm going to try to pinch my shoulder blades together in the back and then round them all the way out and then just go back and forth. Try to do 10 to 15 of these and see if you fatigue at all. And if you don't, then 1, it's pretty impressive, but 2, it tells you that those muscles have been worked out and they're pretty well stable. Now, if we're going to take it to the next level beyond that, what we can do now is we're going to start pulling in a variety of different muscles throughout that shoulder with these next exercises. So in total, there's 17 different muscles that attach to your shoulder. So it's important that we try to activate all of them as best as possible in the most simple way, so then that shoulder is better stabilized and you don't get a lot of popping and grinding in there. So I want you guys to go from a straight arm plank position to now bringing your arm out to the side. Now what happens when you bring your arm out to the side is all of your body weight is pushing through that shoulder. Some people are going to argue, oh, that's going to cause things to get worse. Well, if you're doing it in a slow, controlled manner and it's not causing pain, then you're going to be okay. You're not trying to fight through any pain with this. Just pay attention to your body. Everyone responds differently. So what I like to do with my patients is I'll get a nice wide support with my feet nice and separated like this. And I'll bring one arm out to the side, and then I'll bring the other arm out to the side, and I'll keep going back and forth. And I'll do about 10 of these. If you want to make it harder, don't rotate the hips at all. Now, you can also, instead of going side to side, you're going to bring arms straight out in front of you. So nice wide support system through your feet. Now bring one arm straight out in front of you and the other. Try doing 10 of these. You're going to notice pretty quickly that you're going to fatigue. You're probably going to have a good amount of shaking throughout your shoulders. And all that's fine as long as it's not painful and causing a lot of discomfort. If you get a little bit of shoulder popping, that's totally normal as well. All right, now if you want to take it to the next level, even beyond that, this is a tough one. You're going to get in the same plank position, get your feet nice and wide. And what I want you to do now is when you're reaching out to the side, I want you to come underneath as far as you can and then come all the way back up, rotating up towards the ceiling. You repeat that 8 to 10 times and you're going to fatigue pretty quickly. And that's going to do a lot to strengthen up your rotator cuff, your scapular stabilizers, all your shoulder stabilizers. And it can make a world of difference on how your shoulder moves and how it feels. So I'll provide a link with how many sets and reps you guys should be doing. Not a link, but a free PDF in the description below. So thank you to the viewer who asked that question. It's a great question, and you guys have a great rest of the day and ask more questions.